Welcome to NuttieBuddie Entertainment. The Great.
Great. Why don't we get your first great, Brian?
Straight off the top, Chadwick Boseman. He's great. He was a great Black Panther. I think they did a really good job of casting him. He was completely believable as T'Challa, and he brought a lot of depth to that character, especially with a lot of the scenes that he had in this. He just owned it the entire time. He was definitely in the great for this movie.
Yeah, totally agree. I like how he like you mentioned, he kind of captured T'Challa, kind of like a meek, a humble guy. He listened. He cared about, like, I don't know. I just think he captured the character very well. Like,
Yeah.
very good,
Yeah.
very good. And I could see, like, so let me ask you this, because obviously with that being said, one of the big things that Marvel had to make a decision on going into Black Panther 2 is recasting. So let me just ask you, how would you have felt if they did recast him?
It's interesting. I think I would have been okay with it because of the circumstances going in with him passing. You know, if it was something where like he just didn't want to do it anymore, I don't know if I would really feel comfortable with them recasting him, just kind of like killing him off. But I don't know. It's so hard because he did such a good job, and the way that he passed, I don't think they really ever thought of like recasting him, just because that would kind of diminish his legacy that he built with the Black Panther in all of these movies. So
yeah, I agree. I kind of wish, because Black Panther is such a good character, like an iconic character. Yeah. I feel like that's where I leaned. I don't mind that they didn't, but you know, I kind of think of like Batman, right? Like how many different Batmans we've had, and there's been a couple of really good Batmans, you know.
Yeah, I think they had a kind of like a story in place leading up to his sister taking over as Black Panther. I think that might have been in the future, you know, a couple movies in, sort of thing. But this kind of just sped up that timeline, I feel like. You know, because she is in like the comics, like she does turn into like the Black Panther. One part of my ugly is I think they had a really big missed opportunity from this movie of who else could have taken over for the Black Panther and his stake. Yeah. So I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit. But yeah, we'll get into that a little bit more. It also kind of goes into a bigger Marvel thing too. So
yeah, I think me and you, one of our uglies, are very, very similar.
I think so.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So just to reiterate, Chadwick Boseman, great T'Challa. We loved him. Perfect casting for that. So speaking of perfect casting, my first great, you know, man, I love villains. This is probably a top 5. We got to do that. We got to rank top villains 5. In the MCU.
Ooh, that's a good, that's another video we could do.
Yeah, but I would say he's pretty up there. Like his motivation's very strong. You can get where he's coming from, although you don't necessarily agree with the way he's going about it. He's ruthless. I thought one of the, what did he say? There was, oh man, I should have wrote this down. There was a line he said towards the end. I'm like, that is just a cool line for him to say. I'll probably remember it as.
Don't put me in a cage. Let me be like my ancestors who jumped off the boat because they knew being in chains was worse.
That was a powerful one. Or even like when T'Challa, where he finally like killed him, you know, and he's like, wow, that was one heck of a move, you know, like he kind of like just a great villain. Oh, where he said the world. He's like, basically T'Challa's like, you're going to destroy the world, and he's like, well, the world took everything away from me, so I'm gonna, you know, like, so it's kind of showing his motivation. Like he didn't have it easy. Obviously things were taken away from him, but Michael B. Jordan, great actor, great villain. I thought he nailed the role of Killmonger.
100%. He was also in my great. He's one of he's got to be in the top 5 of villains. And it's
Would you
he will be missed.
Would you dare say he's higher than top 5? I can't go there right now because I have to
I'm just thinking off the top of my head, like Iron Man, none of those villains would be in my top 5.
No.
I really don't think at all. Spider-Man, there's some contenders in there, but I don't know if it would be this MCU Spider-Man compared to the previous Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. I think there were some better villains in that compared to like, this, but yeah. Well, with No Way Home, I guess they bring him back technically, but yeah.
well, the Green Goblin would be the one I'd be like, that's a really good one.
Yeah, right? He's definitely in the top 3 villains of all time. So
yeah. So I mean, we'll have to make a list, but he's up there. I really liked Killmonger.
No, yeah, he's great.
Okay, speaking of which, you got another great for us?
Yeah, I they're kind of lumped in. Just visually, this movie is great. The style that they have it in and what they did for Wakanda, they kind of had a clean slate of what they could do introducing this. I mean, they could have gone so many different ways. A lot of it was very like futuristic, but yet it stayed very like deep inside like the culture of in Africa and in Wakanda, and just the world that they created. It was very similar, like a Sakaar on Earth almost. Something like that, and it just the entire Wakanda itself was just like visually, the style of it was absolutely great, and it developed this world within the MCU that you want to go back to.
Yeah, agreed, and that's why I think a lot of people are excited to go back there.
Yeah,
when we go tomorrow night. Some of the camera tricks that they did, I really liked, especially when Killmonger took over as king and they started like upside down.
Yeah, and they kind of shift it. Yeah. No, that was great scene.
Yeah, it was sort of like symbolic as like Wakanda is flipping, like it's gonna be like overturned or like everything's gonna be upside down now with him as king. So yeah, I really liked some of the camera work as well. Yeah. Let's see here. Any other great?
I didn't think of this one, but I'll put it Ryan Coogler as a director. He's great. He also did the Creed movie, which I love too. That also had Michael B. Jordan in it. But like his direction for movies, that's why I was a little skeptical when they announced that they're doing another one, and without Chadwick in it. But with him at the helm of it, I think it's going to be done right and done good, which is hard right now. Especially I like when we actually get a good director for the MCU. I'm gonna root for them because they're not going to mess up something. It's hard for Disney to hold on to directors at this point. So he does a great job. Need him more into other movies if they can. So
yeah, I agree. It seems like they allow him more freedoms than maybe other directors, which is sort of surprising to me that they didn't learn from that. But yeah,
I think when the first Black Panther came out, they were they had more free reign to do things, and then between that time, I think with the ending of Phase 3, they kind of reined it in a bit, and it just sucks for anybody new who's coming into making the movies, because if you're kind of tried, they give you a little bit more leeway of what you can do, because he made so much money off of this film, so they're going to kind of let him have his vision with this one and go forward with it. Also too, with the whole death thing, I think they even knew like, okay, we have to make sure this is done right if we're going to bring this back. So other than him, the other thing I'm going to throw in there is the Black Panther album by Kendrick Lamar is amazing. It's a great listen. Normally, like soundtracks to movies are not that great. There's like 1 or 2 songs, but from start to finish, it's a great album. If you haven't listened to it, listen to it. It's great. So
nice. I'll have to give it a listen. I've never listened to the album, but the music in there was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready to move on to the good?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks so much for watching this clip of our Black Panther movie review. Let us know what you thought of this movie in the comments below. The great, the good, the bad, and the ugly. If you'd like to listen to the rest of the podcast, the link will be down below with a bunch of other podcasts as well. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you can subscribe to the channel, like the video, and we'll talk to you guys soon.